Here we're looking at the market for medical services, and we have a supply and demand graph here. We'd like to find what a couple different points on this graph mean. You can see that D1 is the demand curve if consumers pay the full price of their medical services. D2 is the demand if consumers only have to pay a fraction of their medical services. So in a case where, say, employers covered a part of it or government assistance covered a part of it. And then we have our supply, which is the supply of medical services. Let's first start with part A, where we're asked to find the equilibrium market price. And the equilibrium market price is that point where the supply curve intersects the demand curve where consumers only pay a fraction. So that's going to exist right here. So at that price, it looks like it's P2. Now the efficient quantity is going to occur where the demand curve of consumers paying the full price intersects the supply curve. And this occurs because when consumers don't have to pay the full price, so like at D2, they're going to demand more than they really need, versus when consumers have to pay that full price, they'll be more careful and they're only going to demand medical services when they really need it. So we see that the efficient quantity occurs at Q1. And the price paid by consumers here, if we wanted to find this is going to be just at that market equilibrium. So we know that the market equilibrium, like we said, the equilibrium market price was P2, right? And that's when D2 intersects S. But because consumers at D2 are only paying a fraction of it, they actually are only going to be paying at P3. So you can see here is that we take this equilibrium up top, that market equilibrium, and draw our quantity line all the way down, right? So that gives us a quantity at Q2, but Q2 up to our demand curve, this first one where consumers are paying the full price, that gives us P3. So this is telling us that the price paid by consumers is equal to P3. And the deadweight loss here. Deadweight loss is really just the economic inefficiency that occurs during this disequilibrium of a good, essentially. So we want to know what the deadweight loss is from consumers not having to pay the full price. So that's going to be the area that exists between the price they would have paid if they were paying the full price and the price that they are now paying because they don't have to pay the full price. So that's going to be area B. It would be that area of the triangle, and we could calculate that if we wanted to, if we had some values using just the area of a triangle, 1/2 base times height. If we'd like, we could calculate that, but the deadweight loss is going to be that area of the triangle B.